I'm Jeremiah Boucher, a commercial real estate investor with over 20 years experience. This show is designed to help you build your business, become a better real estate investor, and help you see opportunities that will keep you ahead of the competition. This is Finding Your Edge.
It really comes down to how do we do those things is through the value creation of the real estate that we're looking for. That's it. Right? You don't do it when you can't just buy something on market that's perfect and it's already there. And it's like, yes, you can. And there's some things there, but no, for us to make money, right? To really win, to be able to leverage something, you have to have bought it to add value to then leverage it, because there's no leverage to leverage when it's at the top. You have to find something that needs whatever the tool that you come to see and say, hey, I can do this to increase its value. That's when people talk about value add. When you don't understand what that means, it means by increasing either the cash of it or decreasing the expenses or a little bit of both. But if you can do that to whatever real estate you're looking at, you're probably going to win, right?
Oh, you're going to win.
You're going to win.
I mean, that's it. The name of the game is buy, own, control assets. Either invest, be a good equity owner in them, control them or own them as the sponsor. But at the end of the day, you have to own good, solid assets. We believe in real estate. And no matter how much money you make on this side, where you're getting all this income from earned income or flipping stocks or whatever you want to do, it comes and goes, man. Yep. It comes and then it burns away. And, but if you got good positions in real estate where you're low levered and it's safe and it just spits out, cash year after year, decade after decade, that's what the real wealthy have. That's it, unless you're going to bring a company IPO and go public and you make a shitload of money on, building some scalable asset that you can bring public, you're over here and you just got to keep plugging away at putting money in good real estate assets. I mean, that's the formula for obviously us. We're preaching to the choir.
We're preaching to the choir. And that's why we go so hard at those assets. And that's why we find different ways of talking to those owners and finding that owner who's ready to, move on or to retire or whatever, is because of, you can tell how amped up we are, because this is why. It's because of that part. It's for the freedom. It's for all those great things that you can do once you find that deal. So I think is a good, go ahead.
Oh, well, and then Marty, the last thing I think is, I had 2 books running.
Yeah.
So I have one other book I'm putting out because I've been.
What? Another book's coming out?
Yeah, but I've been working on it for 3 years. This was my original book that I started before I even wrote Finding Your Edge. And it's called Capture Your Edge. And it's the 25 plays on how to build a real estate empire or a real estate company. And these are the tools and techniques of actually, being able to fund the deal, acquire the deal, different creative financing techniques. And why it's cool is this takes that win-win scenario that you talked about at the beginning of the call and makes it real. It's not just a tagline, a cool social media headline, or some bullshit thing that you're trying to cram down someone's throat. What it really matters is why we got in commercial real estate is because there's true creative flexibility in doing a deal. That is, Donald Trump's, the art of the deal, love him or hate him. That is the beauty of commercial real estate. When he talked about that book, when I read it in the 90s, is you have these different components of real estate. And when you add in there the different sources of value, where you have mineral rights and air rights, and you have the asset where you can build something on this part of the asset, you can carve off another part of the asset that's, the frontage that's more, advantageous to a McDonald's owner, or you can get creative that there's different sources of value that are valuable to different people. And then you have the tax side of it, where if someone else is wanting to sell because, number one, their family doesn't really want to operate or deal with this real estate asset, and especially like the ones that we run, that these are businesses. They're not just easy, cash flow checks. You got to run these businesses. So they want to, number one, is figure out what can I put it into so I don't have to pay as much tax as I should, or I can continue to get this income without ever having to manage this asset anymore. So there's different scenarios and perspectives and situations, which creates motivation. So you can look at a deal and figure out, okay, there's a lot of creativity here where I can split this apart, sell off different parts of this asset that I don't need. And then also I can create this structure with the seller where they didn't realize that they're going to be able to, they're getting hit on all these taxes where at the end of the day, you're still paying that tax. It's not like when I talk about these strategies in real estate that you don't ever pay it. You do have to pay the Pied Piper. At the end of the day, you have to recapture all of those losses and you have to pay the tax. And it slaps people in the face because they really didn't realize that the total cash that they need to outlay. So that's where we get creative, right? Is where these sellers can either structure, some financing on that deal to help you get over the hump to add that value, or they can reinvest in some of the deals that you have in order to get the tax benefits to offset some of those big gains that they're going to receive, or they can exchange into something else where they're wanting to buy, just an easy triple net McDonald's portfolio that they get a little yield on, but they don't pay tax. And when you talk that language and you understand the nuances of the different plays and you understand, okay, this is how you calculate the basis in your property. And I understand now that you've owned it for 30 years and you have this massive tax liability, now you can speak their language and you can help solve these problems and carve it up in ways that you can create a true win-win. I wanted to lay that out there where, taking these tax strategies, these financing strategies, these capital raising strategies, these value creation strategies and put them in this playbook. That was my original vision where I just wanted to share people what I learned because, to me, this is the differentiator that this is why I always wanted to get into this business. I'm not just a house flipper. I'm not just a realtor. I'm not just a guy running my dad's paving company. Like I wanted to be the guy that actually was a creative business owner that when I could put down and look at a sheet of paper, I can understand a situation and strategize 3 or 4 different ways to manipulate this deal where we can all win. And I can maximize my resources in order to do something different that no one else could do or very few people could do. And that's exactly why I built my company the way I did. So I think people are going to get a lot of value from this book because they're going to see the creativity and the advantages of real estate in order to build, real wealth coming from nothing.
Yeah, this is it sounds like that will be like a very much, I've said this before, but like doctorate level of like really understanding where like if someone were to say, if you lost it all, you'd be like, great. I mean, not great, but I could build this thing again. Right? Like if you know those things, if you can get those things dialed in, if something were to happen and you needed to start from scratch again, you could build it back in tomorrow. Like it really can be that, it's that powerful. And that's why it's so interesting because it's like the more tools you have and the more educated and the more you're just in it day to day and constantly trying to get better, like you're going to win, you're going to figure it out. And, it's just, you got to stick with it and keep it going.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, I have to say all this hard work that you're going through now in your early 30s, I'm in my early 40s. It's mind numbing sometimes, but if you get these positions in these assets and you own them and you know how to run the asset, and it's not complicated. I'm just saying you get a position early on and then before you know it, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years went by and you made some good decisions. All the hard work's done up front. Right. I mean, I have these people that I meet in their 60s and 70s or even in their 50s and they did the right things in their late 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, you're like, how the fuck did you get here? Like you're not that smart. Right. You're not a killer. You're not that sophisticated. Right. But you don't have to. Right. You just had to do the right things consistently at the right times over and over and over. And then once you got that position set, let the market and let it do what it does. And like I said earlier in the call, you own some key pieces of real estate. Don't fuck it up. Don't over leverage. Make the right moves with your tenants. Take care of the asset itself. Make the improvements, and then it just grows. It grows so much. And then when you're 60 and 70. Even if things didn't turn out the way that we thought they would, and we're not a billionaire or whatever, I mean, you're sitting damn pretty because, the market did what it needed to do and we did the right things at the right age. And it will happen. It cannot not happen. If you do it this way, it is like the most predictable formula I know on American wealth. Like there's nothing else you need to do. Just make the position and let it grow.
So good. I love it. And then it's so true. It's like the front loading of the work. This is the front loading. Like it is what it is. It's like, this is the work. This is the part that separates people who think about it or that kind of want it, or, but if like you truly want it and you're willing to really do the sacrificing, and it's really like you were saying, like the daily habits. And that's not, you don't get it through motivation, you get it through discipline. It's just like the discipline of doing that day after day action.
Yeah,
typically things are going to work out, and it's a part of the deal. It's a part of the deal. You want that life, it's a part of the freaking deal.
It is. It's just the last thing to wrap it up on is just the way we look at things. And the thing I said in Finding Your Edge is real estate is a long game. I know it's a trite thing to say. It's not that intellectual, but it really is a philosophy and a perception where you got to be in it for the long, long haul. So, Marty, as you buy your first few facilities, and over time you take a position in New York and you get a couple, and then you can add on and you can grow in these markets. You might sell it, you might keep it, who knows? But if you look at it this way, and maybe you're only making a $2,000 a month cash flow, but if you think of it in a 30-year period, and you're committed to this business, and the tax advantages along the way, and the growth and the appreciation because of inflation, all the cash flow that thing's going to spit out to you over the life of this asset and then your family. I mean, that's a different way of thinking about it, where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to put up with some bullshit that the town's going to find me on some little thing that I got to fix. Or, this tenant's, he broke into the facility, or they got drunk and, backed into a storage unit, whatever. I'm willing to put up with all of this up front, because I have this asset that if I look at the long term of what it truly creates for my family and my life, and the freedom that it can build, so I can actually enjoy this fucking, this grind that we have to go through and build what we really want. It's like all the stress goes away. Like, right. Okay, all right, fine. I'll put up, because I know what's going to happen. So it might seem like a little piece of shit investment sometimes, like I've done these, and sometimes they are, sometimes it wasn't a good decision. But, if we're playing the right game, you buy these assets and you have this 30-year perspective of things, it totally shifts how you feel about the business. And it doesn't seem like it's so that you're so behind.
Yes.
Like, I'm not successful today. Like, damn, why don't I know it all now? It literally took me 7 to 10 years to even understand the basics of what the hell's going on. I didn't understand anything about taxes. I didn't understand really the fundamentals about why real estate is so empowering and successful for people over time. I didn't even get it. And I did it for day in, day out, and had tons of conversations. It didn't really sink in until 10 years.
Yeah. I know, because I'm there. I'm that person that you were 10 years ago, where it's like, this is a formula and people are doing it and there's success, and then you get some wins, right? You're getting some wins, and but you just trust the process. And the more that you go down that road, because I'm not a genius, I'm just someone who knows, a couple of things about sales and marketing, and I enjoy that part. And it's like, hey, if I just go down this path and I'm around people, here's the key, I'm around people who've done it, and I can hear their stories and where they did well and where they maybe didn't do well, and start to try to maybe not have to go and do the failure that they did, and maybe learn from that before I do the failure. Maybe I can start staying down this one track of a successful winning kind of road. And then you start learning, you start learning by doing the action. And,
yes.
and something you said about, there's going to be some shiny objects. Well, the thing that's really bad about the shiny objects is that 99% of the time, you don't strike gold that first time, right? No. That first object. And what that does is that you went down that path, you didn't strike, you kind of deferred, or you took a detour from the path you were on to go down that shiny object. And you actually, because you didn't give the time that you need to master your craft to go down that original road you were on, you actually lose your confidence, which makes you not want to do anything at all. And then you end up just saying, you know what, F it. maybe I should have just gone back to school and become the teacher that my dad was, or whatever it was, right? Not that it's bad. It's just, if you had a drive to do something great, to do something bigger than, your family's ever done, or to do something where you are like what Ed Milet says, you're the Neo of your family, where you change everything, right? And that's what my objective is, in my goal is to change the family tree for my name. So yeah, it's so funny that you say these things, because it's like, okay, I'm in the right house. I'm not in the right room yet, but I'm in the right house. And let's just keep going and finding where that room is. And it's just like playing pinball. You want to be up top right and just score a bunch of points. That's where I want to be. Right now I'm playing, I'm playing the game, and I just got to get to the top right to score a lot of points. And I think we're on our path there.
I think the big thing is people got to get out of the stands and quit watching everything in life like a spectator, and then being a critic, saying, they should have done this, they should have done that. We could do that every Sunday because, we love to watch football. But at the end of the day, when you step down on the field and you get on the fucking playing field, now it's real. The fact that you're on the field, I'm on the field, we're playing our respective game, but it's a game that if you get over the goal line, the payoff is there. It's not a mirage. Not a fugazi. It's fucking real, right? Real, yeah. So at least we're on the field playing, and that's what everyone on this, this podcast, they're watching it. We're all playing the game, man. That's why we're talking shop.
Love it. I love it. Well, I think that was a fantastic episode. I think we could probably split that into two, and I look forward to the next one, buddy. I always appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Oh, and so last night I was at this dinner, and these guys invited me to Atlanta to this conference. So I don't know Ed Milet much. I just saw him, because you told me, but I'm going to have lunch with him in Atlanta at the end of the month at this, like some mastermind event. So I'll let you know how that goes. And
yeah, that's dope
down there. Yeah.
That's insane. Super, super cool. I love it.
Yeah, man.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys.
Good luck with the Bills. Our guys are out.
Yeah, I know. Dolphins. I'm not taking them lightly, because that's the last thing you want to do, but should be a smooth Sunday for us. Should be.
This is your year.
This is our year. This is our
year. You deserve it.
Yeah. It's been a long winding road.
You deserve it, man.
All right, guys. Enjoy. Right. We'll talk to you. See you, Jeremiah. Have a great day.
All right, brother.
For more information on commercial real estate investing, go to patriotholdings.com. Thanks for listening to Finding Your Edge.